Hi student, we hope you have done enough exercises and quizzes with the previous lessons, and here we'll have a continuation of acid-base titration. We are going to look at basicity of common acids. So what is basicity? It is the number of hydrogen ions which can be produced by a molecule of an acid on ionization, and that is what is referred as basicity of that acid. It is the number of replaceable hydrogen ion in an acid. For example, hydrochloric acid, formula HCl, has one replaceable hydrogen, hence known as monobasic. Nitric acid, we have one monobasic. Ethanoic acid, we have one replaceable hydrogen ion, hence monobasic. For sulfuric acid, we have two replaceable hydrogen ions, then referred as diabasic. Ethanoic acid has two replaceable hydrogen, then known as diabasic acid. In an experiment to determine the concentration of sulfuric acid, 25 centimeters cubed of 0.4 molarity sodium hydroxide was observed to neutralize 12.5 of that acid. So how many moles of sodium hydroxide are present in 25 centimeters cubed of 0.4 molarity of sodium hydroxide? So B, write a balanced chemical equation between sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. C, what is the mole ratio of the balanced chemical equation in B above? D, how many moles of sulfuric acid are there in the average titer? Then E, determine the molarity of sulfuric acid. F, calculate the concentration of the acid in grams per decimeter cubed. So how do we proceed? Here is the solution. 1. A, how many moles of sodium hydroxide are present in 25 centimeters cubed of 0.4 molarity of sodium hydroxide? Using the first principle, we understand that molarity stands for the number of moles in 1,000. Therefore, 0.4 moles are present in 1,000 centimeters cubed. So what about in 25 centimeters cubed? We multiply to get a value of 0.01 moles of sodium hydroxide. Part B, write a balanced chemical equation between sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. So during sterilization, this is the next step. So the balanced equation, sodium hydroxide, sulfuric acid, and since this is a diabasic acid, it has two replaceable hydrogen, hence you find the reacting ratio on the mole ratio is 2:1. So that is a balanced equation. Ensure that the number of atoms on either side of the equation are equal. Like for example, sodium we have 2, and here we have 2. Hydrogen we have 4, and here we have 2 plus 2 to get 4. When you come to oxygen, we have 2 here. You add this 4 to get 6 on that side, then 4 plus 2 to get 6, and then sulfur we have 1, 1. Balanced equation. What is the mole ratio of the balanced chemical equation in B above? So the reaction ratio or the mole ratio is 2:1. It's a diabasic acid. How many moles of sulfuric acid are there in the average titer? Since the mole ratio is of sodium hydroxide to sulfuric acid is 2:1, and we know the number of moles of sodium hydroxide, note that we calculated the number of sodium hydroxide, then it means to get the number of sulfuric acid you will do a cross multiplication, then you get your answer as 0.005 moles. Cross multiplication, divide by 2. Determine the molarity of the sulfuric acid. Molarity is always in 1,000. So what do we know? We know the average titer of HCl was 12.5 centimeters cubed, and from D above we have the moles of sulfuric acid as 0.005 moles. So then 0.005 moles are present in this volume, the average titer. Now we ask ourselves, what about now in 1,000? How many moles do we find? So we cross multiply, where you say 1,000 multiplied by 0.005 divided by 12.5 to get a value of 0.4 moles in 1,000. So since this one is the number of moles in a liter, then it is the molarity of the acid, 0.4 m. Calculate the concentration of the acid in grams per meter cubed. We know 0.4 moles are present in 1,000, so we just need to change 0.4 moles into grams. The molar mass of sulfuric acid is 1 mole in 1,098 grams. We have that as a molar mass. What about in 0.4? Cross multiplication to get 0.4 moles multiplied by 98, which is a molar mass of sulfuric acid, divided by 1 to get 39.2 grams per meter cubed. Here is a quiz for your working and exercise. The answers are provided. Work out and get all the answers. Practice, practice, make perfect. There's a second part of the quiz. Work out all the questions. They are simple, and these questions are very common and examinable.